What is going on, everybody? I'm Jordan McKelly, and I have no co-host today. It's just me. Today is 420, so if you're just starting this episode with me, light it up. I don't care. Just do it responsibly, right? Big day today. The Chauvin verdict has been decided. That's going to happen between 4:30 and 5, but don't worry. This show's only going until 4:30 today. Got a couple topics to go over with you guys. Is Trevor Lawrence the best QB prospect in 2021? I don't know. We'll talk about that a little bit. Chef Curry, cooking it up in the kitchen. Chef Curry is going bananas, setting records and maybe playing his best basketball he's ever played. And we're also going to get into a soccer Super League that was going to be started, and it looks like it's already going to be canceled. So welcome in to the 43rd episode of Cover Your Balls. Once again, I'm Jordan McKelly. Don't worry, no one's watching, so doesn't matter what the hell my name is anyways. Let's get into this. The last couple years, Steph Curry has changed the league. There's been a couple players that have changed the league with how they play the game. Shaq changed the league when he came into the game. Michael Jordan changed the game. LeBron James changed the game. And another player who changed the game was Steph Curry. I remember watching him when he played at Davidson, and I just never thought that his game could translate at the NBA level, especially somebody as like he looks like string cheese, right? He's not very thick, not incredibly, he's pretty injury prone guy. But I mean, his career has been one of the most promising careers ever. And it's interesting because Curry changed the way everybody plays the game in the NBA. And it seemed like for a little bit that the NBA had caught up to Steph Curry, right? They'd caught up to him. And before this season, we were really going to get into, is Steph Curry as good as we think he is? And I have my own opinion on that, but I needed to see him do some things by himself. He's played with Draymond Green when Draymond Green was in his prime. He's not so good anymore. And played with Klay Thompson, alongside Klay Thompson and KD, who are two of the best shooters, two of the better players I've ever watched. But every single thing Steph Curry's done this year has been unbelievable. He's been absolutely magnificent. It seemed like the league caught up to him. Dame Lillard and a couple of these other guards, Trae Young, and it looks like Steph just separated himself again. And the question is Steph an MVP candidate? Is he an MVP candidate? And I'm not sure if he is an MVP candidate. It's hard to be an MVP candidate when your record is, in drum roll, please, when your record is 29-29. His team is 500, and they are 14 games back in the West. Is incredible as Steph Curry's playing. He's now leading the league in points. He just took over the top spot from Bradley Beal. You cannot be a top 3 or top 5 guy in the MVP race, in my opinion, if your team is not, if they don't have a chance to be one of the top seeds in your conference. I don't think Golden State is going to actually make the playoffs. And if they do, they might make it in a playing game. It's going to be really close. But Golden State's 6-4 of the last 10. And Steph Curry's averaging over 31 points a game. He's shooting the ball at 43% from beyond the arc, which is unbelievable. He's shooting, I believe, over 90% from the free throw line. And he's had like 4 games in the last week where he's made at least 10 threes in a game. It's hard to not put him in my MVP discussion just thinking about what he's done. But when I think of MVP, I think of impact. And impact comes in the form of wins and losses. And as far as I'm concerned, Steph Curry, his impact is good enough to get you 500 right now. I've seen a lot of other players with banged up teams. And I do want to give Steph Curry even more credit here for a second, saying that, Golden State has been really banged up throughout the year. Not just before the year with Klay Thompson getting re-injured, but they've been banged up the whole year. But I've watched a lot of teams, a lot of franchises banged up over the years with superstars on them. And with a true superstar, they've always been able to elevate their team to the playoffs. Well, Steph is on the border of making the playoffs, and I could argue that Steph is never going to play better than he's playing now. Because, in fact, this is the best basketball Steph Curry has ever been able to play. So Is Steph Curry in my MVP discussion? Absolutely not. Could he be? Well, sure. If the Golden State Warriors won, I don't know, like 25 out of the next 30, yeah, let's talk about it. But that's not going to happen. Everybody knows that, and so let's let him keep cooking in the kitchen. But let's leave him in the kitchen. He doesn't get to come into the living room. The living room's where we hand out the MVP trophies. That's where we hand them out. He's not coming in there. So, guys, we're going to do something pretty quick today. It's only going to be 30 minutes. And there was just a couple topics that I wanted to cover. One of them was Steph Curry, obviously. The other was this soccer super league. So, unfortunately, our soccer analyst wasn't able to come on today, Matt. But I'm here to fill you in. So, around the world, a lot of the best soccer franchises, clubs, if you may, decided that, hey, let's start our own league. So imagine if all the best soccer teams around the world did what the NFL did and had the best all-in-one league. Now, would it be good? Maybe. Probably not. Would it be fun? Of course. Of course. There's a lot of details about this, but all I'm going to say is it's already been shot down because FIFA. FIFA ends all the fun. FIFA doesn't want to stop racism, but they are all about making sure they ban teams like Chelsea and other teams from being in their players from participating in FIFA events like the World Cup if they were to play in the Super League. It's a facto Super League gone. It's gone. It's gone before it started. It sounded like a great idea having the best, 5, 10, 15 soccer clubs in the world all together. But where does that leave the rest of the soccer clubs? I'm not sure. And honest to God, I don't know that much about soccer. So it is what it is. I got a couple soccer jerseys over there in the corner, but that's about as far as my range goes. But you guys should check that out. One of the main things I wanted to talk today was the Ben Askren, and I can't believe I'm going to say this guy's name on my show right now, Jake Paul fight. Yeah, I said it. The Ben Askren, Jake Paul fight. What a fight. I don't know how many of you watched that fight, but that was the first pay-per-view I ever purchased, ever. And I didn't actually make it to the fight. I passed out around the fight. I think the festivities started at 9. I passed out at 11. It went all the way till 1. Good thing about pay-per-view is, though, guys, you can wake up and rewatch it. And what an event, and what a fight. Justin Bieber performed. That was nuts. But the most important thing happened, which was Ben Askren and Jake Paul. I've listened to probably 3 months of those two shit-talking each other on so many different podcasts, like Flagrant 2. There's all kinds of podcasts I listen to. I can't think of all of them right now. But going into that fight, I thought Jake Paul would win, and honestly, I tried to put a bet in on Saturday, but I couldn't find anybody to take the bet because I can't bet because I'm in Ohio and it sucks. So the closest way I could bet is if I drove to the Indiana border. I chose not to do that, and because I chose not to do that, I chose to lose a lot of money, which sucked. And what also sucked was how long this fight lasted. And it's really confusing to a lot of people who've watched a lot of MMA, because if you've watched a lot of MMA, and I know we have some MMA people probably watching, you know that Ben Askren is an Olympic-style wrestler, and he's taken a beating from fighters like Robbie Lawler before. And so for Jake Paul to come in, land one punch, basically, and knock him out on the canvas to where he couldn't fight anymore, and that was really the only punch Ben took of the night. It's a little confusing, and a lot of people are saying that it was set up. But I will say that it ended up, I believe it's 1.5 million pay-per-views that it sold. I think they generated about $75 million. And it is unbelievable that we've gotten to a point in athletics to where we would rather watch more popular people box who aren't as good as the best. Like, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but I will say it's a lot more hype than watching watching the household names that boxing has right now. Watching Jake Paul was one of the more exciting things that I've done in sport. I feel like in watching sports in the last couple of months, just because we haven't seen anybody really outside of. We haven't really had anybody in recent memory shake things up. I mean, we've had Floyd for a long time, a while now. But other than that, boxing's been gone for 20, 30 years. So I think this is great for boxing. I wish the fight would have lasted a little longer when I woke up and watched it Sunday morning on my computer. But congratulations to Jake Paul, and congratulations to Ben Askren for securing the bag. Ben Askren made definitely probably close to $1 million, which is by far his biggest payday. He can go back to coaching high school wrestlers again and doing his podcast, and it was fun to watch. It was fun, and if you haven't had a chance to watch that, I encourage you guys to go out and catch the replay of that because it was pretty wild. And the last thing we're going to get into today, guys, is who is the best quarterback in this 2021 class. Who is he? Is it Justin Fields? Maybe. Is it Trevor Lawrence? Could be. Is it Zach Wilson? Trey Lance? Or is it Mac Jones? Gosh, when I look at Mac Jones, I just think of like mashed potatoes. It's something that's not very well put together, you know? Anywho, let me keep going here. You know, I was thinking about this the other day. Is Trevor Lawrence the true, definitive number one? When you look at, like, if you were forecasting, and a lot of accountants out there, you know, I'm dating an accountant. They forecast, right, for the companies so that they know what their expenses are going to be when it's time to come pay bills, when it's bills time, right? If I were to forecast which quarterback I believe is going to have the most success in the NFL, I don't believe it's Trevor Lawrence. I believe Trevor Lawrence is the best quarterback in this class, but I don't believe that 10 years from now he's had the better career out of all 4 or 5 of these quarterbacks. We've talked about how much situation matters, and situation is everything, right? Absolutely everything. I mean, Sam Darnold, Colin Cowherd thought he was going to be the next John Elway. Turns out he was the next Campbell Soup Boy. You know what I mean? It matters where you go. You know, Adam Gase made sure that Sam Darnold couldn't have success. So one of those 5 quarterbacks most likely going to have an Adam Gase, and most likely multiple of those quarterbacks are going to be in situations and in systems where they are not able to thrive, and they're in a position where they're now surviving, trying to be a backup. And the quarterback that I believe is going to have the best career is whoever goes to Kyle Shanahan. I know this sounds crazy. Me and Mitch have talked about it on the show, and I believe Sam's even brought this up as well. Just how unbelievable Kyle Shanahan is. You know, I watched Kyle Shanahan when he was in Cleveland. A lot of people don't remember that he was in Cleveland or care that he was in Cleveland, but when he was in Cleveland, he had Brian Hoyer at one point at 7-3 before us dumb Browns fans ran Brian Hoyer out of the house and out of the stadium for Johnny Manziel. He's had success with a lot of guys who are not very athletic and a lot of guys who really don't have too much leg speed. I would love for Kyle Shanahan to take Justin Fields. There's rumors that he doesn't want anybody basically ad-libbing in his offense. What that means is he wants somebody to run his offense to a T, do what they're told. But I don't think that's what Kyle Shanahan needs. What I think Kyle Shanahan needs is a quarterback who can challenge him to be a better coach. Why take Mac Jones and limit yourself down the line when you can take somebody who is a proven difference maker? He's a guy that I believe Justin Fields has the highest ceiling. I don't believe his floor is necessarily really as close as maybe a Trevor Lawrence, but I believe his ceiling is the highest because of his athleticism. He's just raw skill, and he's incredibly intelligent. And I think he's going to do really well with the media, so I feel like he's going to be able to take a lot of pressure off himself that way, mentally. And I don't think there's going to be as big of a chip on your shoulder. Kyle Shanahan, if you're out there, take Justin Fields. He's the best quarterback in the draft. 10 years from now, I believe that if you get Justin Fields, Kyle, and this is just a conversation between me and you at this point, that you're going to be a Super Bowl head coach. Matt Ryan couldn't get it done for you. He couldn't get it done. Jimmy Garoppolo can't even stay healthy enough for 5 minutes. But Justin Fields can. Justin Fields can take a shot, come back in the game, throw a touchdown. Because that's how we breed them down here in Columbus. So, Kyle, this is the last thing I'm going to say. Take our boy Justin Fields. Take him. I would. I don't know if we have anybody watching, but if you any questions from the one person watching out there, shoot it out. Shoot your shot. Because we're going to close up shop here in a minute so I can hear this verdict for one of the biggest murder trials in the history of America. Any questions? Yeah. No, I don't think so. Here we go. I thought you were there, Sam. Justin Fields is the worst QB in the draft. Come on, Sam. What the hell? What are you doing? What are you doing? He's not the worst QB in the draft. Not even close. Not even close. I'm gonna star that comment anyways, though. I'm gonna star it. Well, guys, this has been. You know what? I do have one more thing I'm gonna talk about. Sam, I know you're out there, so we'll talk to you right now. I don't know if you heard this, but LaMelo Ball looks like he's coming back. Sam asking in the chat, what would you decide for the verdict? Sam, I think it would be an absolute shame if this guy wasn't in jail for a long time, maybe the rest of his life. I think it would be bad for humanity, and it would be bad for this country if he wasn't in jail, and that's Derek Chauvin we're talking about, in jail for mostly the rest of his life. So hopefully some of the, his family, George Floyd's family, gets the peace they deserve through that verdict. And with that being said, let's go to LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball. We thought this dude was out for the season. He ain't out for the season. Reports are 7 to 10 days from now, LaMelo Ball could be back on the floor with scary Terry Rozier and Gordon Hayward. The Hornets are in the 8th spot in the East, I believe, right now. And I believe the next closest team, I want to say is, and let me pull this up, is the Heat. And they are a game back of the Heat. So right now, if you're not a top 6 seed in the East or in the West, you have a play-in game with the 9 and 10 team. So the Charlotte Hornets are right in there right now at 28 and 28. And it's kind of crazy that they're 28 and 28 because they've been banged up. I mean, Gordon Hayward's missed a good amount of games still. And he's had a good season, averaging just below, I believe, 20 points a game. With LaMelo Ball coming back into the fold, the question I have for everybody out in the ball pit is, could he still win Rookie of the Year? Could he? I mean, I think it's pretty safe to say that he's definitely the best rookie out there, and I don't know if anybody would dispute that. The only thing that you could dispute is, well, he's missed all this time. But the fact that we're even asking this question means that he probably is, right? I mean, before he got hurt, he was averaging basically 15, 6, and 6. That's pretty good. It's pretty good, especially for, we've seen 2 of his brothers that have come before him. And I believe that if he is able to come back and he's able to get Charlotte into the playoffs through the play-in game, I believe he deserves to win Rookie of the Year, and I think it would be a very good thing for the Charlotte Hornets if he did. And I'd be happy for him. The Charlotte Hornets, they have Miles Bridges. He's literally a highlight reel every game. They have a really good team. I wouldn't be surprised. This is, honest to God, this is the best job Michael Jordan's ever done. And not that that's saying a whole lot, Michael, because you're not very good at drafting people or picking people up in free agency. We know that. You're not great at your job right now. You're great at basketball, not great at this. But this is the best job he's ever done. I'm happy for him. Excited to see where they're able to go. Sam in the chat, Hornets and Hawks. Ant Edwards running away with it right now. I don't know if he's running away with it right now. I think LaMelo Ball comes back and he plays well, Sam, as good as he was playing. I think they give it to him over Anthony Edwards. I think they do. I think they do. And I will say this. I won't be mad if LaMelo Ball doesn't win Rookie of the Year. I understand that when you miss that many games, the best ability is availability. So if you're not able to play in the games, I'm going to pick a guy, who's able to show up and put on a uniform and play. I mean, that's more valuable than the guy who can't play, is all I'm saying. So I think you are probably right, Sam, with him being it right now. I don't think he's running away with it, though. I think if LaMelo Ball is able to come back in 7 to 10 days and be effective, I think they're going to give it to him because we all know how the NBA works. It's all a narrative-driven league, and the media decides what story they want to concoct and who they want to pluff up. Because, come on, look at our MVPs for the last 10. Our MVPs for the last 10 years has never been pull up the last 10 NBA MVPs. Rookie of the Year. Some of these awards are all all the NBA awards for the MVP and the Rookie of the Year. A lot of these are just narrative-driven stuff, and it's like that in the NFL. I mean, the NBA. It's a lot like that more in the NBA than it is anywhere else, and it's because the athletes run. They run the league. The athletes run the league. There's a reason all these athletes got to pick what was going on the floor and on the back of their jerseys instead of their name in last year's 2020 playoffs. Guys, I've run out of things to say. Run out of things to do. We'll be back Thursday. Mitch will be here. I'll be here. Sam Summers will be here again. Sam's in the chat right now. I should just had him on today. The future of the NBA is in good hands. Sam, it is in good hands. And I hope the rest of your guys' day is in good hands too. I'm looking for this theme music so I can kind of walk on out of here with some style. There it is. Not many of you tuned in today. Didn't expect you to. It's okay. But for those of you who did in the ball pit, I appreciate you. I'm Jordan McKelly. Sam Summers and Mitchell Balla will be here on Thursday. Turn on the TV because one of the biggest moments in American history is about to take place. It's been real. Episode 43. I'm out of here.